So welcome everyone that is joining us tonight, and just to let you know, this meeting is being recorded so that people that weren't able to join us tonight will be able to see this. We'll post it on the website. What we're going to do is talk about the overview for the Recovery Wellness Initiative. So what I'm going to do is give you a little brief presentation. I'm going to ask you if you could just mute your microphones while I do that, because sometimes we do get a lot of noise. That's kind of like a feedback from everyone, and we'll just have you mute it while we do that. If you do have a question, feel free to, ask it, but I am planning on, at the other end, allowing a Q&A just for, a few things to be discussed. I'm really hoping this is going to be about 15-20 minutes just to do the overview and let everyone know that had questions. I was thrilled that the email that was sent out to the full membership, we had over 60 people respond that either yes, they wanted to be part of this initiative, join committees, or that they had more questions, they wanted more information about it. So that's a very encouraging response for us to have, and that's wonderful. So I'm going to share my screen, and I am just going to go through this presentation. Great. So again, what I said earlier is this is pretty much the same presentation we gave at the district assembly when I talked about this. What we are referring to is the Recovery Wellness Initiative. The hope for this is that it is a sustainable initiative, committee, whatever we determine it needs to be going forward. So you may be familiar with the term recovery, and the definition being a return to a normal state of health, mind, or strength, or the action or process of regaining possession or control of something stolen or lost, as in recovery of your family possessions. And then we have the definition of wellness. And wellness is defined as being the state of being in good health, especially as an actively pursued goal. I mentioned in the email that I sent out that what we want to do, Rotary has 6 areas of focus. And what we want to do with this is, this initiative wants to focus around the 8 dimensions of wellness. And those 8 dimensions are emotional, financial, intellectual, vocational, social, physical, environmental, and spiritual. We need each of these different dimensions to balance out, and unfortunately they don't always balance out as we want them to at the same time. But these are 8 different the dimensions or areas of different things that do relate to our wellness. So this is the interactive part, just like I talked about at district assembly. And what I'm going to ask you to do is just think about it. At the district assembly, I said raise your hand. You're welcome to do that too if you want to right now. But I just want you to think for a few minutes. Do you know someone who's experienced, for example, financial issues, whether they've been unemployed for an extended amount of time, they've had a bankruptcy, foreclosure of a business or a home, health issues, surgery, cancer, diabetes, chronic illnesses, been assaulted, domestic violence, sexual, physical, mental health issues, depression, anxiety, PTSD, etc. Legal issues, they've been incarcerated, they've had a divorce, child custody, involvement with child protective services, etc. Addiction, suicide, grandparents raising grandchildren, loss of a loved one, limited education, unsafe housing, lack of transportation. So when this was presented at district assembly, of course, what happened is, after we went through the entire list, is everyone had raised their hand pretty much. And many people had raised their hand more than once. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about recovery and wellness. We all, as Rotarians, have lived experience around this. Mine happens to be specifically professionally around addiction. As a family member, I'm the mother of 2 adult sons in recovery from substance use disorder, specifically opioid use disorder. And the work I do now as a recovery coach, you know, and advocacy work is around addiction. So that is where a lot of my lived experience is. But as I've done this, what I found is my lived experience has also, you know, kind of dominoed out from what I was looking at with addiction to, unfortunately, suicide, grandparents raising grandchildren, the financial issues, the health issues. When people go into recovery, they may be in recovery from their substance use, but they have health issues that are from their prolonged substance use. So what I found is that really all of these different dimensions play into someone's recovery and their wellness. And this is stuff that we can work on as Rotarians here at home. It doesn't have to specifically be around addiction. We have the word recovery in there, which is what we like to use. But, you know, all of these different things are about our wellness. You know, we work around education with the children and the dictionary project and literacy, and that's wellness as well. So this allows everyone to identify that they have lived experience that they can use and they can bring to Rotary and what they want to do. But it also allows everyone, our clubs, our regions, our members, to decide what works in their community, because what is going to be necessary, for example, I'm in Region 1, will be very different than perhaps what's necessary or needed in Region 3. Some of our areas, for example, around addiction have treatment centers and some don't. Some have more resources than others. We're very rural, we're spread out. Transportation's a big issue here. We don't have public transportation, not much. So this allows us to all identify that we have the lived experience, and also gives us a lot of different things to work with around this. So the goals for the initiative for this year are to develop a committee with varied lived experience, which we have. We have plenty of people interested. We have plenty of people with varied lived experience. Assist the clubs in identifying the needs for their community. So as I said, Region 1 is different than perhaps Region 3, and I'm a member of the Philmont Club. And the Philmont Club could even identify different needs than, let's say, the Kinderhook Club, which happens to be in my region as well. I think in some areas we're going to find that maybe the region's going to work together. In other areas, you know, Region 8 and 9 is large, and they may just want to work on something as a club or maybe just with another club. But the committee should be able to help them identify the needs for their communities. And then help the clubs develop partnerships with organizations, recovery and wellness. I have a lot of contacts professionally around recovery, wellness, mental health, a lot of different things. And again, we'll have varied lived experience with our members. So we want to be able to have the club say to us, well, who's in my area? Who should I pursue a partnership with? Who could I work with on service projects, or see what we could do to help, you know, with what they're doing? So that would be a goal for the initiative, is to help the clubs identify that. And then create these sustainable service projects to improve the wellness of our communities. There are a lot of different things that we can do. I have ideas, other people have ideas, and that's what we need. We need a lot of ideas, and find out what we need to engage our members and our clubs and our communities to do this. So there's my contact information. You all have it from emails anyways, and I know that, I believe I sent the email out with my professional email address, which is Lori at our Wellness Collective. That's fine too, doesn't matter. Phone is fine, text is always quicker to get a hold of me if you have any questions, absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. And let's bring us back here. So in regards to the commitment and the meetings, I think the commitment is going to be dependent on what you want to do as a member and what you're finding that your club, community, region, area is doing. You know, I'm very, very willing to chair the committee. I'm very happy to facilitate meetings and do the things that we can. I'm also in a spot in my own recovery to say no occasionally. So, you know, what I don't want to do is be the only person doing this. And I can't. That's not sustainable. It's not going to meet the needs of everyone in the district. And, you know, I don't know what's necessarily best for, you know, Cindy's club, for example. You know, I'm happy to facilitate and offer and share and do whatever I can. But that's why we need everybody involved. So I think that that's going to depend on what each of you want to do in regards to your commitment. The other question that I was asked very often about the folks that responded was, what are we going to do about the meetings? Again, that's going to depend. If we had 60 people that were willing to join the initiative or the committee, that would be amazing. You know, I don't know if we'll have that many. If we have 30, that also is amazing. I would love to see subcommittees by region so that each region could decide how often they want to meet. Do they want to meet in person or do they want to meet online? I happen to like online. I'm very comfortable with it. I do it all the time. And I'm in Region 1. So a lot of times everywhere I go in the district is at least an hour and a half drive each way. So that makes it challenging for me to attend meetings, especially on weeknights. And that's 3 hours out of my day. And I don't see so well at night. And you know, it's just not, I'm not going to be able to be as engaged. So, you know, facilitating these meetings are great, doing things wonderful. It's fine. If other clubs and regions are interested in doing these meetings online, I'm happy to help make sure that that happens too. But some are going to want to meet in person, and that's fine. And there's no reason why you can't meet as a subcommittee and, you know, come back and help your area, and we all work together to do that. So that's what I think would be a great idea. That's my idea. But I'm not the committee. So I think we're open to exploring what that needs to be and what's the best way to do that. So some of the other things that were discussed immediately is developing a resource list. David Myers, Meyerson, I'm sorry, David, you're on the call, is developing a trifold that's similar. The Cairo Rotary Club up here actually developed like a palm card, and David's developing something which I understand is a little bit smaller, and it's going to be a list of resources you know, in their area. He's with the Hyde Park Club. I gave him a list of things that are pretty much in the Dutchess County area, and it's something to work with. He can print 250 of those cards for, you know, right around $100. That is a great tangible thing that clubs can do. You know, if they want to do something and they're not sure about a service project or how many people or whatever, and they're happy to purchase something to hand out, there's something that can be done there. All of the presidents that were coming in this year at PETS were given a workbook, a recovery workbook that my business has created, and that's another example of a tangible item if they want to hand them out, similar to the dictionary project. There's wholesale pricing. We just lowered the price. That's another idea too. Just having a list of resources is something that we can all work together and develop, and there are a number of ways we can do things with those resources. Service projects. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out what we all want to do. There are a lot of different things we can do, and I'm going to let Cindy talk in a moment, because I know that we've had conversations and she has her goals for his district governor this year. Another thing that we did years ago, many years ago, we did this for the district, is develop a speaker list. Now, we all, can I say, need speakers, right? It's something that comes up a lot for club meetings. So developing a speaker list, again, probably by region and or topic. So, I mean, I can give you names of fantastic people that talk about a specific topic around addiction, but they're, you know, primarily they might be in Albany, and they're not going to be necessarily available to travel to Spring Valley for a lunchtime meeting on a Thursday. However, that same topic, I probably can find someone else in that area that could attend those meetings. This is something we can do to help the clubs. They don't have to do it on their own. Has a committee, has an initiative, we can develop that list for them so that it's available for them, so that they're able to have these meetings, have speakers, build awareness, education, you know, all of the different things that go around that. So let's open it up. Cindy, do you want to talk first about the service project we're looking to do in September?
Let me get myself off mute. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, maybe?
Yes.
So one of the goals that we have this year is we want to actually have an entire month dedicated to recovery wellness, and that'll be the month of September. And during that month, we would like for clubs to focus on speakers, engaging in their community, looking to the police departments, fire departments, going into schools, doing whatever they can to have an impact in that community, focusing on one specific day, that is the 14th of September. And we'd love to have every club in the district do something on that day. If it's a Narcan training, if it's showing a video, if it's engaging with your Interact on things that they can do, we really would like to collectively have this impact. We have 55 clubs. We have 1,600 members. If we can do something, that should create a change, even if it's handing out pamphlets that Lori was just talking about. You know, just as simple as that. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, but we would just like to have participation in this initiative, because it's, at least for me, everyone that I talk to, it's affected someone in one way or another. So that's a little brief capsule of what the district, what I would like to see, what we would like to see.
I'd like to add to that too, Cindy, that September is National Recovery Month. So when Cindy and I spoke about this and, you know, doing a district-wide project, you know, I suggested September because people that are involved in the recovery community, specifically around addiction, we all focus on that. And August 31st is Overdose Awareness Day, and overdose. So we would be very, I think the people that were already doing it would be very willing to engage with us and, you know, partner with us or do other things with us at the same time. So it just kind of makes sense to do it in September.
Yeah, it does.
So if you folks, you're welcome to unmute yourself, have any questions, suggestions, ideas. Let's share a couple things quick and then we'll call it a night.
Hi, I'm back on Lee's iPad now. Hi.
Hi, Chris.
Hey. Hi. We have September 14th is our annual motorcycle run. And we were just talking about, because last year we did it in memory of Jerry Janellen and for veterans. And it's perfect timing because we're trying to decide what our main focus for the fundraiser would be. So now we have an answer. So thank you. Perfect time.
Great.
Yeah.
So Chris, if you folks are interested, you can suggest to the club. I have a number of people that have done similar things that I know around the country to come up with some ideas about how you want to do that. If you want to allow people to bring pictures and honor people they've lost, or if you want to you know, focus on recovery resources by letting them table at the event. There's quite a few different things, and I could connect you with some people that have done it.
Perfect.
Right, and have some conversations.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Of course, I have to run it by my committee.
Of course.
But
Yep.
I can't see them saying no. It just seems like it's too perfect. You know, we're searching for something, and I think this is it. So that'll be really cool.
Great. Good. Anyone else?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm in the Newburgh Club, and I'm really a new Rotarian this year. So I'm assuming that we are all in the same district. Is that a good assumption?
Yeah, that is a perfect assumption. Yes.
Okay. And in our district, we've had like the hospital present on opioids. We've had a few different presenters, and one of the things that just sparked in my head was having a conversation. Maybe we could have a series of young people, you know, talk about this epidemic from different diverse group and its effect on themselves, their family, or community. That would be different. I have not seen that at our club yet, and I'll put it out there and see if it would make sense, because school will just be opened, but we have a couple of colleges down here as well. So I would love to hear the conversation about this the impact on young people and their friends, and I think it'll have a slightly different twist than having it come from a nonprofit or a hospital
Yes.
perspective.
So Arlette, one of my passions around this are specifically young people in recovery, because they're the generation that's gonna, hopefully have some solutions to this crisis. And I have a number of young people in recovery. We can debate what we define as young, but younger people in recovery. And I would be very happy to connect you with those people and some organizations in your area, absolutely, that do this. It is wonderful to hear from young people that are in recovery, because it gives hope. It shows us the face of the person, the individual, the human side of it, and not the disease, which unfortunately so often is the ugly part of it, when someone is sick. So I think that's a great way to do that. And it's always a way to engage college age and high school kids. I can talk about recovery. To school age kids, I'm just not, it's not the right, market for me. Great with moms, because that's my lived experience. But
Yes.
if we want to, if that you identify that as the part of your community that you want to bring this to, then yeah, absolutely. Let's get some young people together and let them do what they do very well. And they are also, pretty good and open and willing to talk about recovery. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. So
Yes.
that's a
I'll
great
present it to the club and get some feedback, but it just sort of, from what I've seen thus far, that's what's missing. The voice of the young people actually speaking their journey.
Great.
Yeah. So I'll
Well,
put it out there.
that's the value of you identifying in your community what you haven't, been aware of, a gap, and doing that. So that's great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome as a Rotarian.
Thank you. My son, he lives in Longview, Texas, and he joined first, and he sort of knows me, and he said, you got to check it out. Go Google, find a club in your area.
Great.
So,
oh, that's good. Great. Thank you so much. All right. Anyone else? All right. Well, I think this was a great way for us to have this conversation, give this overview. I hope that this is given those of you that had questions about the initiative and the commitment and the meetings some things to think about. I will follow up with an email. You're certainly more than welcome to reach out to me. And the next thing I'm going to be looking to do is really get that commitment from people that they're willing to move forward with this. And then we'll go forward. We'll have some other meetings and we'll figure out how to get this done.
Awesome.
So, good. Thank you again for your time tonight, and look for that email from me.
all right.
All right. Everybody have a great night.
Buddy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.